2021 began with a whimper, but we were ready to leave 2020 in the rearview mirror for good. Unfortunately, the new year was starting the same way as the old. The pandemic, still surging, keeping us outside as much as possible. So we started at the crown jewel of Acadiana, the Atchafalaya Basin. Even in the dead of winter, there's a beauty there like no other. And as the weather turned even cooler in January, faces were pressed against the window hoping that maybe, just maybe, coastal Louisiana would get a rare snow. So we looked back at the biggest snowfalls in Acadiana, not knowing a massive winter storm would cripple much of the deep south by February, but we still found some of the beauty of that winter wonderland. We followed along some of the oldest routes in Acadiana, LA 14, also known as the Cajun Corridor Scenic Byway, from New Iberia through Abbeville to Lake Charles and all the towns in between. It's known as the most Cajun place on earth. And as spring kicked in, we followed the blooms and the beauty of the season. And as there was more reopening, tourism officials cautiously optimistic that the summer would be better. But they all added that they were marketing to most of us who live here, giving us locals the chance to experiencing our home as a tourist. And that way, when things would reopen, there's no better to tell the story of how great Louisiana is than those who call it home. I learned about the man who lends his name to a road that most of us drive every day. We traveled to space on the anniversary of the first shuttle mission, talking to Dave Hostetter, the man who ran the Lafayette Planetarium for decades. I visited the Opelousas mayor, who said it wasn't just about getting the tourists back, but also improving the way they get here, with better roads and beautification of what's along those routes. We enjoyed the Louisiana Orphan Train Museum, where members are preserving the heritage of thousands of kids getting a chance at a better life here in Louisiana. And one of my favorite stories of the year, meeting Brady LeBlanc, the cemetery director at the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist, who said he feels that even though his job is to take care of those resting in the cemetery, he feels like the souls there are watching over him. And that's just half the year. Tune in next week to see more on what made Acadiana special in 2021. For Acadiana's News Channel, I'm Dave Baker.